Hi guys, Renee and Mike here. We are coming to you today to talk about the different print methods that we use and how we decide what print method we're going to use for each job.
Yeah, so if you are an emerging shop or if you've been printing for a while and want to kind of go to the next level or see what you can do to up your efficiency, stay tuned. We'll get right into that.
Okay guys, so the very first print method that we are going to talk about is heat transfer vinyl. So we started out using heat transfer vinyl exclusively, and we have a silhouette cameo cutter, and also a graph tech, which is a larger, like 24-inch cutter. So we have primarily moved away from using vinyl so much now, but the situations where we would use vinyl now are small one-off orders that are not a lot of color. So I would say the cutoff would be maybe 10 pieces that is at the most 2 colors. Or the other situation would be if you have an order where you need to use a specialty vinyl such as a glitter or holographic vinyl or something like that. So of course, using HTV vinyl, you have to take into consideration the time that you need to cut the vinyl. So if you're using a silhouette cameo, you're going to have to cut this roll of vinyl to the size of your mat, cut it on your cutter, and then weed it before you can apply it to the garment. So using HTV vinyl will not be practical if you have a large job to do or a job that's a full color job. So moving on to the next option is our printed vinyl. We have a rolling Eco-Solvent printer, and these are examples of items that we printed on the rolling using printed vinyl. Now, what we would use this for is if you have a job that's more than just a few pieces, and I would say up to 25 pieces, or if you have something that's full color. So you can see this is an intricate design that you could not do in HTV vinyl. And this is only 3 or 4 colors, but it would be really difficult to do in heat transfer vinyl.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to layer that. If you got to layer in that, it'd be really thick and it just wouldn't look great. And I want to say we were in business for, in a shop, I would say. We were in a shop a year or a year and a half before we got the rolling or something like that. So yeah, we started off, like Renee said, exclusively with heat transfer vinyl, and then we were able to upgrade to the roll-in and started using various printable, Eco-Solvent printable vinyls, which are great. You know, obviously they allow you to print digitally, so you can get gradient, color gradients and things like that, and really unique colorways or color patterns. But it is still effectively a piece of paper, so that is something to remember as well when you're applying. And I think we actually kind of have this almost arranged, maybe like this, arranged in terms of hand feel, in terms of print methods. So, well, I'm sure, if you're watching this video, we're all familiar with heat transfer vinyl. Most recently, we've been using the brand of Viva that comes in this longer roll, but Caesar and Stahls, whoever else, I'm sure we've gone through all the major brands of vinyl, and it does look nice, especially if you use textured silicone mat on top of it. But we all know that feeling, that kind of heavy feeling, plasticky feeling that vinyl has. The Eco-Solvent Printable vinyl does have a hand feel. Now, it isn't as bad as heat transfer vinyl, but if it's something that's a big patch, a big square in the middle, you're definitely gonna feel it, you know, and it's gonna be on there. You're gonna know, oh, okay, this was pressed on using a piece of paper. Now there are varying levels of Eco-Solvent Printable vinyl. We've been using the
Stahls.
What's it called? Stahls. Soft opaque. Soft opaque 2, I want to say, is the formula that we've been using. That's really soft and gives you a really, really nice hand feel after doing like a second press with a cover sheet or a silicone sheet. But certainly something to remember is that this is definitely going to have a hand feel to it as well. And so this is actually kind of how it comes. So it'll be on a white roll, and then it prints just like this. And then it's your job to take like adhesive tape or something like that, a low-tack adhesive tape, to mask this off. Similar to how we have here, you mask it off, peel it back, and then weed. So there is some time that is going to go into that as well. So this is still a weeding method. So this still is going to require the cost of the adhesive sheets, as well as the ink, your Eco-Solvent ink, and your Eco-Solvent printable vinyl.
Right. So that's another thing to keep in mind when you're using printable. You still have to factor in the time that it's going to take you to weed and mask and pull the design. You know, similar to HTV where you still have to weed it, but you have one additional step here where you have to mask it as well and to pull it off.
Yeah, so this really helped us come up with the custom market. We started doing a lot of jerseys, holiday shirts, things like this where it says Cousin Crew. So when you start getting people who send you snapshots of things they saw online, this would be really great for your Eco-Solvent printer, because then you can maybe either download the picture that they saw or recreate it in your own software, and then not have to worry about layering vinyl on top or missing out on gradient colors or color changes or anything like that. So it's always a good option. And if you're looking to get out of heat transfer vinyl or kind of upgrade your shop to the very next thing, I would definitely recommend the wide format printer. I would say that was our second big piece of equipment that we purchased, and it really was a game changer for us. We purchased an older model wide format printer, 27-inch print bed, 30-inch print bed, which is on the smaller side. I think that's one of the smaller stand-up printers that they sell. Obviously, they have the desktop versions, but this is one of the smaller stand-ups that we have, and that allowed us to start printing banners and stickers, and that was the main focus until we discovered that there is such a thing as Eco-Solvent printable vinyl, and that really allowed us to kind of skyrocket and move on to the next printing option, which I switched just to put them in order of hand feel, but I will talk about this one next. And this is a transfer. This is a Plastisol ink transfer is what I was trying to get out. And so this is the same Plastisol ink that you would use in normal everyday screen printing. This is the stuff that has the really good hand feel, you know, kind of really sinks into the fabric. And this is kind of where we're all trying to get to. You know, if you're doing screen printing in your shop, I'm sure you're already here at this point. But if you don't, we think this is a really, really good option. This is something that we didn't find out about for a while, a couple of years into our shop journey, and we really wish we would have found out about this sooner, because this particular transfer is a 15-cent transfer, if I'm not mistaken. And so it's really good to think about this. 15 cents, you can't really beat it per, you know, if you're basically totaling the cost of your shirt, cost of production, adding in 15 cents is pretty good. And so
just press and go.
Just press and go. Yeah, so we get these for our bulk orders. As you all know, we do a lot of fundraisers and online shops, and so we get orders periodically, maybe once or twice a week, and then there's nothing, and then, you know, maybe next month you get 2 or 3 more orders. And so these have a nice long shelf life, and they're cheap enough that we can buy in bulk. So when an order comes up, it's not a big deal. We toss this on the heat press for 15 seconds, and then we have a nice screen printed t-shirt that we can give to our customers. And so you don't have to worry about burning a screen and then re-burning it, once another order of this particular shirt comes in. We do only get them in one color though, however, and we can maybe do another video that goes a little bit more in depth on pricing, but these Plastisol Transfers almost quadruple in price, if not more, when you go up to a 2-color transfer. And so in our particular case use, we only use them for our 1-color design. So think about something simple like this. This is our front and a back actually that we were able to squeeze onto one transfer. But if you have school names, maybe there's a field trip or a graduation list on the back of a school shirt or something like that, sponsorship shirts. A lot of times we have runs and marathons and they have sponsors on the back, and there's maybe up to 100 names on the back. So instead of weeding them out of HTV or out of printed vinyl, we get a single color Plastisol ink transfer at 15 seconds on 300, 325, whatever on your heat press, and you have a fully cured screen printed shirt, fully cured back. You don't have to worry about running it through a second dryer or anything like that, or worry about it peeling or chipping. These have really, really saved us, and it really helped out a lot in terms of our 1-color coverage. So certainly we'll put the Plastisol ink transfer up there as one of the higher end options if you are looking to add something else in, or you don't necessarily want to take on the art of screen printing as it is, but still want those nice hand feel shirts and easy results. So yeah, definitely love the Plastisol ink transfers. And then fourth we have DTF. So I'm pretty sure you all are familiar with DTF Transfers, and this is from our particular DTF supplier. So it'll come on a nice big roll, similar to something like this, and then we just cut these out. And if you don't know, DTF does not require any sort of weeding. So I would basically just cut this, small little left chest portion out, and then press it on our heat press, 315, 325 for 15, 20 seconds, and it's good. We like to do a second press just with like either a cover sheet or a textured silicone pad, just to help increase the hand feel on DTF. Once you do it once and it adheres, it's a little plasticky, a little cloyy.
But the second press really makes all the difference, which we didn't know as well at first, but it makes a really big difference in the hand feel if you do a second press.
Yeah, I would almost say it's mandatory for it because it feels so much better. Now, in terms of pricing, DTF is the most expensive printing method that we currently use.
Right. So what I would say is if we have a job where it's a high quantity but multiple colors, that's when we would go to DTF. The only downside with DTF is you do have a little bit extra time because you have to cut it out, cut the designs out, because it comes on a roll, and you have to do the 2 presses. So that takes a little extra time. But if we have a high quantity order but 1 color, I would do transfers, do the Plastisol ink. But a high quantity, multiple colors, I would do DTF. Although DTF is expensive, you need to take that into account in your price.
So just like Renee said, that isn't an added time factor with doing the 2 presses. And I guess again, I did forget to kind of go over that with the Plastisol ink transfer. And so we would purchase these, like you're saying, with a high quantity 1 color design. So for example, we did the Bubba Wallace block party this year, and they wanted close to 3,000 shirts, and it was 1 color front and back for the majority of shirts, and then a small portion, like a third of the shirts, were just a 1 color front. And so we don't primarily screen print in-house here, but if we did, we would have to burn those screens, prepare the pallets, actually pull the squeegee on those 3,000 shirts, cure them fold bag, and everything like that, which I'm sure is a breeze for, screen printers, master screen printers and things like that. But what we did, since we're primarily a heat press shop, is we ordered thousands of these one color Plastisol ink transfers, and our vendor was really happy with the outcome. And so if it was something heavier like vinyl, it may seem a bit amateurish, I would say. Sometimes people can really tell that gloss on a printed item like heat transfer vinyl or printable vinyl. But this is everyday Plastisol ink, just same old ink that you would use at a screen printing shop. So it feels great on the shirts. And this allowed us to do that order fairly quickly. That was one of our larger orders for the year. And the one-sided shirts went really quickly. I mean, we probably got through, those within 3 or 4 days or so, or something like that. Now the double, the front and back, obviously take a little bit longer because you've got to flip the shirt over and do a second press. But that's important to remember when we're doing DTF, because although you can get full color, nice feeling shirts, the 2 presses is almost mandatory, I would say, and that does add a lot of time to your orders. Renee and I were talking not too long ago when we were finishing an order about how we would have been done quicker had we not had to do the second press. It may not seem like a lot in the grand scheme of things, it really isn't. But when you could be done with an order and moving on to something else or getting ready to deliver or pack and ship, knowing that you have the entire second press to do does add time. It could add another day, depending on how big the order is. And I think that you're really going to want to do the second press, because that's what you want to give to your customers, a nice feeling product that you feel confident in, that isn't going to fall off during a wash or anything like that. So do keep that in mind, that this is more expensive, and with the second press, it can get to be time consuming when you're doing a large order. But I think the end result, obviously is really good. And so we have done maybe more than half of our large orders for this year in DTF, and people come back. None of our customers complain or say this just doesn't really feel right or wasn't what we were expecting. We always get good turnout with color as well and washability. Same thing with the Plastisol ink transfers. So I would say between these two are the options that we are employing for our bigger orders. Printable vinyl and heat transfer vinyl if we're doing a quick one-off, something like that, something that's going to be pretty basic or something that we have to kind of recreate from our head. And I want to say maybe probably the last thing to consider is that these items will have to be shipped into you. If you have a local shop or you have a cutter at your house, you're likely going to have a little small stockpile of heat transfer vinyl already there. So if someone calls you on a Thursday night and say, hey, would you mind printing a shirt for me for Friday? It's not too big of a deal to go down, fire up your Cameo, and just cut that out of regular heat transfer vinyl. Same thing even for the Eco-Solvent. Although you don't want to waste a lot of your printable space by printing one item, just like how Renee has here, you just print 2 stones. You're going to use them eventually, just print 2, So that's even something that you can just do while you're at home, spur of the moment. These both have to be ordered in, and I would say you want to give at least 3 to 4 days, travel time. We were lucky to find a vendor in Indiana, and so our lead time has been reduced. But previously, our vendor was in Florida.
It took several days.
That would take several days to come in. Same with the Plastisol Transfers. We do have them in the Midwest area, but you're going to add a few days on for travel time. So just kind of keep
and
that
give
in mind.
the vendor time to do the order.
Because they've got other orders as well. So we just kind of want to come to you and give you a little information about where we have come from and the times where we upgraded. Now obviously, like, DTF is more of a newer technology, so we don't really fault ourselves for not knowing about that as soon as we opened. But like Plastisol Transfers, I'm sure were around when we first started, when we were doing vinyl and stuff like that. So just a little tidbit for those who are starting off or are ready to kind of move to that next level. Maybe think about the Plastisol Transfer, especially when you consider the cost and time that it's going to take for your screen printing. You know, you don't have to buy any chemicals, you don't have to buy any inks, you don't have to have a dark room, you don't have to wait the 24 hours for your screens to cure and dry and all that. So, you know, if you're not into the art of screen printing, definitely pick up some Plastisol ink transfers, and then definitely consider DTF if you can, you know, spend a little more on the order and have the time to wait for it to get shipped to you.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because we actually do have at the back of our shop all of the screen printing equipment. We've got a 6-color screen printing machine, the conveyor dryer, the whole, you know, the flash dryer, the whole thing. But it's just so much better use of our time to order transfers and work on other orders than to actually screen print here ourselves. So just a little something that we learned along the way.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, guys, hopefully you all enjoyed this information. Hopefully it was beneficial to you. We will have links down below to maybe like to the Plastisol Transfer people, and then maybe some links where you all can check out some printable vinyl over there. Please like and subscribe and let us know what you think down below. You know, do you use one method over another at your own shop? Or if you have any questions about the methods we showed you here, feel free to let us know. It certainly helps us out.
Thank you. So have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.